Starting na.
Yeah, so
Okay. Dex, sige Dex, take it Dex.
Vlog in train.
Ha?
Vlog yun.
Kaya nga. I'm gonna test it out here first. Okay guys, thank you.
And here we are, guys. Hi, my name is Zako Moto, and my actual name is actually Christian. Please call me CJ. I'm currently 20 years old, and if you guys are wondering why I'm speaking English and where I'm at right now, I'm actually from the US, California, San Diego to be exact. But now I'm living here in the Philippines, and I'm living in Kalibo, Aklan. So I'm lucky enough to be living near the Twisties, which everybody tends to go to in Tangalan all the way to Buruanga, and I think that's pretty neat. People ask me if I'm actually Filipino. Yes, I'm actually Filipino. I know how to speak Tagalog. Marunong naman ako mag-Tagalog. Kaso lang, English talaga yung pinaka-comfortable ko. So, I lived here for about 4 to 5 years ago, and I moved here for school reasons and family reasons, and you know, the classic Filipino why we moved back to the Philippines type of thing. So, actually, I started writing 4 years ago roughly. So, it started with a Mio Solai. And that's actually a really interesting story, if I do say so myself. The way it happened really was I wasn't allowed to ride, if I'm being totally honest. All right, I wasn't allowed to ride. Didn't even have a license back in the day. You know, the Kamote days. Been there, done that. Everybody's done that here. So what happened was my parents moved back temporarily to the US for like a couple months. And you know, they left the keys for the motorcycle, and I lived there with my grandma and my uncle. And so interestingly enough, teenage days, I stole the keys. All right, I stole the keys. I rode the motorcycle. I went around town, you know, the casual stuff really. And then it came to the point where, you know, they were really mad at me, but when they came back, they had no choice. They just got used to it. They just told me to get a license, and then there you go, I'm riding a motorcycle. But if I'd never done that, I would have never achieved my dreams today, which right now, as you can see on the screen, I'm holding the new MT-09 2021. And I'm only 20 years old, so some people are like, yo, you're so lucky, you know. But, you know, it took some time to get here. Next motorcycle after the Mio Solai was actually the Aerox that my uncle bought. But he doesn't even ride it like a daily or even monthly, you know what I mean? So basically, just left it there stock, and it's been 2 years, we left it at 500 odo. So 2 years, 500 kilometers ran on that Aerox, and you know, absolutely, we don't ride it, absolutely not. So it's kind of weird, but we do ride it, and I was the only one that brought it to 500 actually. And then so after that comes to my Juke, my beloved WW baby boo. The Juke 200 BS4, one of the most lovely bikes. It was my first, it's not a big bike, but for me it was back in the day. And this was actually a year ago, so you guys are wondering, wow, in 5 years, you had 4 motorcycles? Yes, I did. But the Juke 200, you can learn so much on the 200cc line. That's actually the first motorcycle that I've learned how to clutch wheelie on, and that's another story right there. But I had that motorcycle for a year, and I ran 11,000 on the odometer, so that's 11,000 kilometers worth of adventures all in all, and I've ridden that everywhere here in Panay. And you know, riding the Juke 11,000 is a lot. Again, experience comes with that as well. And you're not gonna have enough experience if you haven't witnessed your first accident. And I actually was in my own accident on the Juke 200, and that was one of my biggest accidents, I would say. But before that, I had an accident on my Mio, and again, another interesting story. We're gonna do a lot of story times today. So on my Mio, what happened was I was going home from my friend's house in Banga, and then while I was driving home, there was an accident near Tigayon. So sa unahan siguro ng Tigayon, there was an accident between an underbone motorcycle and someone that was on a Gixxer 155 or 150, I'm not sure. Anyways, the Gixxer guy, he was in bad shape. The guy that was actually drunk that hit the Gixxer still on the ground, and then all of a sudden he got up, got his keys, and got on his motorcycle again, and he started to drive off. And everybody was just there because I stopped right up ahead, but you know, the chismoso type. So I went over to the side and I waited. Everybody was looking at me when he ran off at this point. And they're like, habulin mo, habulin mo. You know, I had like second mind telling me, yo, don't follow this guy. Could be armed. But, you know, the Filipino me took over. And I'm like, no, I gotta help them. I want to help them. So I chased this guy down for the next, I would say 15 minutes. And we went to the backside of Mobile. And we rode there. And remember, I'm on my Mio. This thing does not have great suspension. And the speed is like, right? So I'm chasing this guy. As I'm chasing him, he threw his helmet at me. He was trying to make me stop chasing him. And at this point, I'm like, oh, this guy's crazy. So we go to the point, and this is at the end. So there's a lot of people outside. There's a lot of police outside as well. So the accident happened actually when he crossed a street where you don't have right of way. You actually have to yield. But what he did was he took the risk and he went across the street from the place where you have to yield. And me, I know that that's actually a spirit there and that's dangerous. So I got scared. So I had a moment of choice where I had to decide if I was gonna risk my life or brake on the spot. And again, the Mio, now good motorcycle, but if you're going at high speed and you're gonna brake all of a sudden, tendency is you're gonna slide. So that was my first accident there, and luckily enough, my dad just bought me a brand new Spider helmet, Recon 2, just a couple days ago. And when I fell down on that, you know, I mean, it was 6,000 pesos worth of a fall, but it actually made me feel protected. It felt like clouds, if I'm being honest, when I hit that, when I hit the ground. So that was my first accident, like my first big accident. And then we're gonna move on to my Juke 200, which is another interesting story, heading towards Iloilo actually. And what happened was when I was doing a corner, I was on the outside, and the guy from the inside actually overshot himself towards me. So at this point, you know, I'm in my banking position already. I'm about to hit a corner. This guy's like, oh, I'm about to overshoot, and I'm like, holy shit. In my mind, I can't think split second. So I tried to, ginawa ko talaga lahat para maiwas lang siya. So nung nag-iwas ako, I had to press my front brake and my rear at the same time. But again, split second, I think, and the road was wet. I underestimated the grip of my tires. He actually overshot, ate my lane. And I was the one that ate the ground. So you know that really sucks. You know, there's a couple things changed really on my motorcycle. Just the clutch, the foot pegs and everything. And I think that's it. I mean the side mirrors are scratched, but we didn't really want to go for a change because it still looks the same. So yeah, that was like one of the scariest incidents that I had, and at that point, my mom, my parents, they didn't want me to ride, but they did buy me gear though, so that's at least good, right? And here we are today, as you can see, on my brand new MT-09 2021 Yamaha bike. It's a really great bike, and you know, this is after 1 year riding the Juke 200. It's a really massive jump. To be honest, that's a 700cc jump, and that's really big for me because when I first actually rode it here in Kalibo, it was kind of scary because I was not comfortable with the power yet. But you know, after a couple days later, since you know I've been riding it a lot lately, it's only been with me for 3 weeks actually, and now that I've been riding it a lot, you know, the power seems amazing. I mean, I can't really use 4th, 5th, 6th gear that much, but it's really fun if you do manage to get your bike there. So there's a lot of differences between my Juke 200 and the MT-09, considering like the power, the handling, technology-wise, the safety, and like in comparison to the Juke 200, you're gonna get a lot of features in the brand new MT-09 or any like bigger CC compared to the Juke 200. Now actually the BS6 Juke 200 is really good. It has ABS on it, comes standard now. And I think that's going to be really great for the Juke 200. I feel like if I had the ABS during my accident, I wouldn't have slipped, but you know, that's 50-50 at this point because you can't really tell. I didn't have ABS, so I wouldn't really know. So, me, I'm a fun rider, alright? You know, following the rules is all great and stuff, and I believe everybody should. But me, in general, I'm a fun rider, a little bit speedy, per se, and I love to pop wheelies. So that's just a little bit about me, alright? And, if, like, when I do wheelies and do high speeds, let's talk about safety real quick. I don't do that stuff unless I make sure that whoever is in front of me is super far and I can see the roads left and right, you know? I don't want to do wheelies where if I do fall down, I'm going to injure somebody else. I don't want that. You know, other people here, they turn and don't look, and, you know, I'm about to pop a wheelie right here after this truck, I think. And yeah, so I'm going to be going straight. Here it is. And wow. Can't really see that well, but anyways, someone turning, making a turn, and not having their blinkers on, and then they're not looking at their side mirrors, that's more dangerous to me than popping a wheelie with no one else on the road, right? So that's a big point for me. I love having fun, but the safety type of fun. I don't like taking a risk with other people's lives, okay? If it's with my life, that's fine. And you know, you can't really blow off those people that are gonna get mad at me. That's understandable because, you know, different mindset, and, you know, I respect that in so many ways. Trust me on that. So, again, people might say, oh, grabe naman, nagwiwili ka, pasikat ka, mabilis ka, pasikat ka. I don't do it for anybody else besides myself, you know? I just do it, again, I'm a fun type of guy. I just want to have fun, want to live my life to the fullest. And I guess that's one of the ways to do it. So some people have asked me online, when did I start doing wheelies? I actually started doing wheelies. It happened here in the Philippines. And, you know, I transitioned my way to the Mio. I started to wheelie that just a little bit, but, you know, not comfortable yet with the power and everything. So, after that, couldn't really pop it on the Mio. We moved on to the Aerox. That one, you could pop it just a little bit, but again, my experience and skills were not there at the time. But then when it came to my Juke 200, I mean, it's only 200 cc's. It's pretty heavy for the weight and the cc that you are getting. Because there's a lot of dirt bikes there that are like 90 cc's that you could wheelie on it like a monster. The Juke 200 is really, really fun to play with, especially if you're going to play with a clutch, or even if you're lucky enough to have a 390. Those bikes will want to wheelie day and night, alright? So, people always ask me, why did you start doing wheelies knowing that, you know, it's a risk. If you fall, you fall. If you fall, you could potentially die. Again, there's that fun factor in having a motorcycle that you can have fun on. And again, that safety thing I'm talking about is safety towards other people. Alright, my safety, you know, it's all in my head. Safety for me is fun, but making sure that I'm safe and people are safe around me. So I don't, when I do a wheelie, I make sure I don't go too far. I don't go, you know, too extreme. Not those like crazy wheelies where the back end is touching. You know, just the standard power wheelie, clutch wheelie. 30%, 40% high in the air, but you know, other than that's really much it. So getting back to the MT-09, actually the MT-09 is such an amazing bike, like I said, but it's not the bike that I really wanted. The bike that I wanted actually was a KTM 690 Supermoto, and that is like a massive dream bike for me. That's the bike that I actually wanted, but the only reason why I didn't get the Supermoto yet is because of time. Right now, I went to Motorcycle City, which is like a big bike store. Oh my god, this guy was coming off. I'm watching this as I record. Anyways, I went to Motorcycle City, and they said that it's gonna be a couple months before the bike arrives, and I really hate waiting. I want a bike that's already there. I could see it, I could ride it, you know. I don't want to wait that couple months, even though that is my dream bike, because it is like a really nice wheelie bike. But, you know, we just didn't go that route. We went the MT-09 route, which I think is also a wonderful choice. No regrets. And it's possible maybe around December-ish or early next year we are going to be grabbing that Supermoto. Okay, because we now have an MT-09, we have a bike we can play around with, but we are still going to grab that 690 Supermoto sooner in the future. Because I've also heard that yung mga piyesa ba, mahirap hanapin dito. Just in case like you get into a crash or something, it's gonna be really hard to find those parts and pieces for the the KTM line in general for the higher CCN. So people ask me, MT-09, good starting bike? You know, it's alright. I know the video today, guys, was is a bit everywhere, but you know, I'm just getting you to know me a little bit better as a person and as a motovlogger. Again, today was just a voiceover, but later on we're actually gonna get into more of a motor vlogging type where we're actually talking in the video, but my mic wasn't working, so we did a voiceover, which is fine, and we're gonna be working on that sooner or later, because again, I do have a GoPro Hero 9 and Hero Max, which is the 360 version, which is gonna look fantastic. Right now we're using shoutout pala kay Dixon Telenero para sa paghiram. Ay, Tagalog, help me. Oh, nosebleed. Anyways, thank you Dixon for letting me borrow your Hero 7. And you know, today was an amazing day. Had a great time using your camera. Actually, this looks really good. I think I would reduce the resolution just to get a little bit more widescreen, but I was using his default settings. That's why it doesn't look the way that I want it to be. Because when I want something like high res, like 1080p. I don't want anything like 4K. That's a bit too much. High res, but then we're gonna hit that widescreen, which is gonna look absolutely amazing. But you could also do it in the Hero 7. I just didn't do the setup. I ran it the way Dixon ran his settings because I didn't want to touch his settings. You know, that's his camera. Anyways, again, guys, thank you for joining me on my first video vlog, something story time, talking about, you know, whatever. This is Zako, and I'm gonna be signing off. I'm gonna be seeing you guys on my next video. Thank you for joining in. So yeah, guys, we haven't done any of our intros yet, so after maybe a couple days from now, we're actually gonna be recording an intro, and it's gonna look dope and stuff. We're just getting things set up as of right now. So once again, thank you for joining in, and I hope you have a wonderful day.